Think about your bedroom tonight. The door closed, the lights off, no one within earshot if something went wrong. Your ancestors would have found that setup somewhere between reckless and unthinkable. For almost the entire span of human history, sleep was never a solo activity. It happened in a pile. Bodies close together, breathing audible, someone's arm draped over someone else, a fire kept low but burning through the night. Silence and solitude weren't the goal. They weren't even an option most people had access to. The psychiatrist Carol Worthman spent years studying sleep across dozens of traditional societies and found something that upends almost everything modern culture assumes about normal sleep. In the group she studied, solitary sleep, one person, alone, behind a closed door, was essentially unheard of. People slept in clusters. Children slept against parents. Extended families slept in the same structure, sometimes the same platform, close enough to feel each other shift and breathe throughout the night. This wasn't about affection, or at least not only about affection. It was about a threat that never fully went away once the sun set. Predators, rival groups, falling temperatures. A sick child who might stop breathing quietly enough that only a body pressed against theirs would notice in time. Sleeping in a group wasn't a lifestyle preference. For most of human history, it functioned as a survival system. The way a herd of prey animals instinctively bunches together at night for exactly the same reason. Here's where it gets stranger. Even the way people slept through the night looks almost nothing like what we consider normal now. The historian A. Roger Ekirch spent over a decade digging through pre-industrial diaries, court records, and medical texts and found overwhelming evidence for something called segmented sleep. People didn't sleep in one continuous 8-hour block. They slept in two distinct chunks, a first sleep and a second sleep, with an hour or more of quiet wakefulness in between, usually in the middle of the night. During that waking window in the dark, people didn't panic or reach for a device. They talked, they had sex, they prayed, tended a low fire, or simply lay there thinking, often right next to another warm, breathing body who was awake for the same reason. Ekirch found references to this waking period in sources going back centuries, treated so casually that writers rarely bothered to explain it. Everyone already knew what it was. So what happened to all of it? The short answer is artificial light. Once cheap, reliable lighting spread, first gas lamps, then electric bulbs, nighttime stopped being a fixed block of enforced darkness and started becoming an extension of the day. Historians studying the shift found that segmented sleep didn't fade gradually. It collapsed within roughly a generation once electric light became widely available, replaced almost entirely by the single, consolidated block of sleep considered normal today. The biology didn't change. The environment did, and the biology simply adapted to whatever conditions it was handed. Solitary sleep followed a similar, separate trajectory. Driven less by light and more by wealth and architecture, private bedrooms, one specific room for one specific purpose, were, for most of history, a luxury only the rich could afford. Historian Roger Ekirch has also documented how in medieval and early modern Europe, entire families, servants, and sometimes guests routinely shared not just a room, but often a single bed, out of simple architectural necessity. The idea that every individual deserved their own private sleeping space didn't become widespread until industrialization made smaller, cheaper, more subdivided housing the norm, and a growing middle class could suddenly afford to want it. Which means the sleep you consider completely ordinary, one person, one room, one uninterrupted block from roughly 11 to 7, is a genuinely recent invention. Not thousands of years old. Not even hundreds for most of the population. It's a side effect of light bulbs and floor plans dressed up as biological destiny, and your body may still be quietly negotiating with an older set of instructions. Sleep researchers have noted that a significant number of people who struggle with insomnia, specifically waking in the middle of the night and being unable to fall back asleep, aren't necessarily malfunctioning. Some researchers argue they may simply be experiencing a faint echo of segmented sleep, a biological rhythm your ancestors would have recognized instantly and responded to by talking quietly with someone else in the dark, rather than lying there alone, checking a phone and diagnosing themselves with a disorder. None of this means you need to invite 3 relatives into your bedroom tonight, but it might be worth noticing what your body is doing at 3 in the morning without judging it quite so fast. That waking moment in the dark isn't necessarily broken. It might be the oldest, most ordinary thing about you, showing up in a world that no longer has anyone lying next to it to talk to.